Well, we'll go ahead and get started. James Poulter is the one that brought this together. I think James and Roy met at some kind of an event at Chi-Chi's, I believe. And we're excited to hear kind of, if you will, the good, the bad, and the ugly of kind of maybe where we are and Roy's role in Eckerd Connects and some of the great things that they do, if I can say do, but Evelyn Boyd is also going to join us. She's one of our chamber members, and she's got some insight. Roy, I don't know if you're, although Felicia got on without me doing anything, or did you have to let her in, Roy?
I had to let them in, I think. So they're just popping up. So I'll let them in.
Okay, that's fine. So Roy has more than 35 years of experience in marketing, fundraising, and major gift procurement. He has published 2 award-winning books on fundraising, including Rainmaking, The Fundraiser's Guide to Landing Big Gifts, and the Amazon #1 bestseller business book, 101 Mistakes Nonprofits Make and How to Avoid Them. In addition, he has 27,000 iTunes subscribers that listen to his weekly podcast at royjones.org. And without further ado, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you to kind of maybe tell us what Eckerd Connects is and what you've got going on, Roy.
Yeah, well, thanks again. We so appreciate the opportunity to participate, and we've got a lot of different programs, and I know that you all are familiar with what we do locally. I'd like to take just a minute and kind of give folks a big picture overview, because I have found, like today, I'm actually calling in from Raleigh, North Carolina, where we have a residential program near here, and we've actually, the Carolinas are some of our most significant areas of the country, and I'll be back here again next week. But most folks are just familiar with what we do in Florida. Of course, that's where Jack and Ruth started, and they have residential academies around the country. I'm going to talk about some of that. We have more than 150 offices in 20 states, 933 full-time employees. We work with more than 43,000 primarily young people, and mostly young adults, ages 16 to 24. Around the country. And so I'm going to kind of give you a real big picture, and then we'll kind of hone down on the scope of services. Eckerd has really worked for the last 15 years. Kind of show you a timeline here. Most people are familiar with our outdoor therapeutic programs. That's what Jack and Ruth started. You hear, we had developed a kind of a camping model. Had more than 40 of these outdoor camps across the Southeast United States. We still operate a few of them. One not far from where you're at, and Camp Ininihasi. It's an outdoor therapeutic program for women, and I'm going to have Evelyn Boyd, who was just with me there, talk in just a minute. But this, the residential programs, this kind of over time has expanded quite a bit. Here in the Carolinas, we have 4 programs. Some of those were originally outdoor therapeutic programs, and they're now residential programs. We also do juvenile justice programs, expanded into that area in the 80s, and then began, one of the common problems we saw, and this is true today, with young people and the challenges they face, is trying to break the cycle of poverty. And we wanted to beginning, 2014, 15, we began to get involved and trying to identify more opportunities for young people to get job skills, job training, serve our communities by providing workforce programs. And we have continued to expand those. Just actually in 2020, it started, but we've expanded upon workforce and added Job Corps programs in 10 states, including the Job Corps program in Pinellas County. And so we do a lot of different programs. Again, 43,000 clients a year. We've helped way beyond over 300,000 clients in the last 20 years. and it's really pretty special. You can kind of see our footprint here. The solid colored states are where we provide only workforce programs. And then those where you see the green and blue color scheme, you see where we have a more robust offering, begins to feel like a wraparound support, because we can come in and serve them in the child welfare space, community intervention, juvenile justice. You may have heard of our Project Bridge program here in the state of Florida. Wraparound services, providing casework and providing community support, pulling all the pieces together for young people, and then workforce development. We have found that this is the greatest thing that we can do to empower young people to break the cycle of poverty, be able to stand on their own, change the communities that they're in, is by providing them workforce opportunities. Of course, we run the workforce program in Pasco Hernando and right in Newport Richey, and pretty special program. Does a lot of great things for the community, not only in job training for youth, but helping the community in that workforce space to be able to provide workers and job support for our community. One of those companies is run by a lady by the name of Evelyn Boyd. She's on the call with us today. She has an insurance company, Main Street Insurers, right in Newport Richey. I had the wonderful opportunity to visit one of our residential programs, Camp Inini-Hasi, with Evelyn just 2 weeks ago, right, Evelyn? And she spoke to our young people there, and who are many of them going through some very tough challenges. They come to these residential programs, many of them in some pretty adverse circumstances, where they don't have the family support at home, and so they move into a residential program, and we help them through this journey. But I asked Evelyn to join, not only because she's a member, but also because she was a client of ours at this camp that we went back and visited, where she actually received the training of this program, Camp Inini-Hasi, and outdoor therapeutic program. But Evelyn, take 3 or 4 minutes and just share your experience. And I know a lot of folks on the call today already know you, but take just a minute to introduce yourself and tell a little bit about your story.
Well, good morning. It's still morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Evelyn Boyd, and I am president and part owner of Main Street Insurers. I'm also a Upper Tampa Bay Chamber member. So there's a few of you on here that recognize me. So hi, guys. All of you don't know this part of my story, but I am a graduate of Camp Inini-Hasi 30 years ago, actually. So this is kind of a bittersweet thing for me. I came to Camp Inini-Hasi from a family environment that was very abusive, and I was like in foster care, but within my own family unit, because they were trying to find a place to put me so I could get better or live in a healthier environment. And it wasn't looking good. So at some point, the guardians that I was living with were introduced to Camp Inini-Hasi, and I was 13 when, so you guys can do the math as to how old I am. I was 13.
Nobody's doing that math, I promise.
When I joined, and it was a life. I literally saved my life, because when I was 13, I was already getting in trouble at school. I was not making good enough grades to even pass the 6th grade. I was in and out of the principal's office because I was acting out, trying to get attention. And when I came to Camp Inini-Hasi, it was just a diverse group of young ladies and amazing counselors. And it taught us how to interact with several different walks of life. And my best friend was a prostitute and a drug dealer, and I lived with her for 16 months. There was runaways, there were suicide attempt girls, projects, other prostitutes within my group and the other groups there. We all come from some of the darkest places in life, and Camp Inini helps us learn how to work within ourselves, work with other people, because it takes all kinds of people to make the world go round. There are problem solving skills that are taught there that I don't believe you would get in the real world. Like, we literally cut down trees and built our own tents, and that takes an extreme amount of teamwork. When you've got 13-year-olds, you've got 18-year-olds, you've got, I want to do this on my own, and wallflower, all trying to make this one structure. And we all had to learn how to communicate and work together. We took 21-day canoe trips. And let me tell you, when you don't pack enough feminine products, that gets interesting. We learned how to literally rough it and come together as a community. I was able to graduate high school with Who's Who Among American High School Student Multiple Year Award. I was recognized by Washington as a national scholar. I have been a firefighter. I've been a nurse, a homeschool mom, and now I am an owner of my own business with my best friend. And I'm actually getting ready to start a new business venture in addition to. And I have to say that Camp Inini helped give me the foundation to be able to do what I do, to be where I am right now, to be able to talk to you guys. It's literally a life changer. And when I went to go visit a couple of weeks ago, it was just, I cried. It literally was a homecoming for me, because it truly.
And for the record, the big bald guy cried too. So
I cried for this too. Just, I can't say enough about it. Again, teamworking skills, the fact that we have to problem solve outside of the box, because we're literally out in the middle of nowhere, and we have to find our way on our own wits and as a team. They teach us how to budget. They teach us how to balance a checkbook. They teach us how to shop. Every weekend, there's an opportunity for us to stay in our campsite instead of go up to the main chow hall. And we have to plan out an entire menu for both days, and it has to feed everybody. And we learn how to, like I said, budget it. How much money do we have left? They have a store that you can go shop, and just, there's, I could just go on.
So many life skills. You know, and that's really the thing, Evelyn, that from that program years ago, I'll just leave it at that. But it's those types of skills, and it's the soft skills that, you know, we're able to carry forward, even in our career source programs, our workforce programs. You know, it's those types of skills that people forget, that unless you teach a young person this, there's no way for them to learn it. Most of the young people that we work with, just like Evelyn explained her home environment, they don't have a stable parent or someone that has these skills to teach them. And so that's why, you know, what Eckerd does, you know, coming alongside young people, you know, who are in very tough situations. The word at risk doesn't even begin to describe the situations these young people come from. Underserved doesn't begin to describe the home life that these young people come from. And then to have these programs in more than 150 communities in 20 states to come alongside young people, to teach these soft skills, bring with them the rest of their life, just like Evelyn Boyd, where she's applying these lessons she learned as a young person every day in her business career. You know, that's really what it's all about. You know, the one thing before we open it up to questions, I just wanted to plant the seed. people often ask me, even though my title is Director of External Relations, I do a lot of fund development. And people will ask me, well, I know that, Eckerd is this big organization, $200 million budget, 20 states, 43,000 young people. What can we help with? And what I always remind folks is that these programs are community supported. When a donor steps up, when a corporate sponsor steps up and helps us with a donation, they're not helping with the program itself. That's paid for. They're not helping with our overhead or curriculum. That's paid for. They're not helping with my salary or Melanie Weber's salary. She's our corporate relations officer who's on the call with us today. That's paid for. What they help with is transitional, we call them success awards. I'm not sure we had success awards when you went through the program, Evelyn, but what a success award is, it is a scholarship to help that young person from the time they graduate with our program to when they can get on their feet. A lot of times, maybe a young person goes through the program, they go to vocational school, they get vocational training, or go into the Job Corps program, get certified as a vet tech, nursing assistant, pharmacy tech, plumber, electrician, carpenter. They get skills, but because they don't have a family support, real home life, parental support, any stable way to move in that transition, these success awards might help with your security deposit and first month's rent. They might help with, a lot of times, we have this happen all the time. Somebody goes through one of our programs and they've landed a great job. Maybe that job pays 50, 60, 75,000 a year, but they're unemployed now. And to get on that construction site, they got to have steel-toed boots, a tool belt, a hard hat, and they got to supply those things themselves. A lot of times these success awards go to pay for those kinds of costs. But that's what folks do. That's what companies do. They come alongside us and help these young people, just like the story you heard today with Evelyn, help them make that transition from a training program to actually real world, real life, standing on their own and breaking the cycle of poverty. That's what Eckerd Connects does, and would be happy to kind of open it up to answer any questions, talk about anything you'd like to talk about, and just wanted to give you kind of a big picture of what we're doing around the country as well as here at home.
James, I see your hand, or a simulated hand.
Thank you, Doug. Yeah, Roy and Evelyn, I just want to say thank you for taking the time. Very proud to be part of creating this relationship and understanding more what Eckerd does in the whole community. So I'm sorry I'm going to have to leave a few minutes early on the call, but you guys do amazing work. And thank you for taking the time, Roy, and your story is amazing, Evelyn. So I know you took the time to come out to Chi-Chi's and learn a little bit about the foundation. And I think these kind of conversations are really important for us as leaders in the community, just to kind of continue to help each other. I think that's really important for us going forward. So thank you both.
Oh, you're welcome, James. And, folks on this call today, you might know a business that is looking for, again, could be a young person, could be an older adult, but folks that are coming through our workforce and job training programs, we'd love to help you and help with employment needs. And so, of course, when we do that, it's a twofer for us. Not only do we help your company, but we also help that person that's getting back on their feet and truly great workers, and we've got lots and lots of them. So, so I just wanted to throw that out there. The other thing is, as we have, especially young people in our community, whether it's through our foster care programs, whether it's through our workforce programs, our Job Corps program, our Juvenile Justice Project Bridge program, if they're connected to the Eckerd program in any way, they can apply for a success award to help them with transitional living expenses as they move into their career path. But I just want to throw that out too, and I know that's we've got lots of kids are being touched by lots of people, many on this phone, and thanks to you, James, for the amazing work you guys are doing at Chichi Rodriguez.
Real quick, Roy, what was the age range that you work with?
It depends on the program.
Okay.
In the workforce programs are usually 16 to 24.
Okay.
And so, it is that young adult population. A lot of times we're looking for, especially for the 16-year-olds, job shadowing opportunities. Again, this is done on our nickel, not necessarily the employer. And so they're part of our program. There's usually a stipend provided through our program. But just those job shadowing opportunities really help a young person to get into a career track and find something they like. And so for the upper chamber members, even a few weeks of job shadowing would be a wonderful opportunity for some of our young people. But now we do have other programs. For example, our Project Bridge program. Now that is those are young people that are coming out of the juvenile justice system. So they've got in trouble and they're trying to get back on track. And usually they're referred to our program through a judge or someone in the court system. And they many times can have their record expunged if they graduate from our program and are gainfully employed or finish their GED or finish high school. And so those are great programs too. Our Project Bridge program was just named the Workforce Program of the Year nationally just 3 weeks ago out in Las Vegas at the National Workforce Conference. So you can take a person who's gotten in trouble, made some mistakes, done some dumb things, and turn their life around and get them back on their feet and then employed in the community. It's really a special thing. I mentioned twofer before. In some cases, that's like a fifer. You're really impacting not only that young person's life, but the community and that business that did something special and gave that young person a second chance.
Sure. I see our Oldsmar Mayor, Dan Saracki, has his hand up. Dan, do you have a question?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Sure can.
I'm having difficulties with my video. Sorry about that. I just wanted to say I learned so much today, Roy. Thank you for your presentation. But most of all, I want to, Eve, your story, your personal story about when you were 13 years old. That was very heartwarming, and I appreciate you sharing that with us because it shows where you have been and where you are going. And it just really helped me understand your policies and where you guys are headed. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today.
Welcome.
Felicia, City Manager Felicia Donnelly.
Hi, thank you.
Questions.
Yeah, thank you both for sharing. And yeah, your story was amazing. I am interested in a couple of things. The shadowing program from a city level, yeah, anytime that we could help, I welcome that kids explore municipal governments is actually a career path. And so we of course want to open our arms to that. The other thing is we've had very good success with getting like employees through Goodwill. I'm assuming you guys have a relationship with that. So we've had a lot of success locally at having employees in certain positions, not in all positions, clearly. Sure. Like money would be off limits, but in certain positions, we've had very, very good success. And so Goodwill has a similar program of getting back to work. So we've partnered with Goodwill, and we have long-term employees out of those programs that we don't want to be without. And so that's, and they're also, I find very willing to work and loyal because not everybody gives them a chance. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about was the job training. Of course, the city has a relationship with the chamber through a business assistance program. It is, we visit, businesses on a monthly basis. And so James and Mayor Saraki and Doug and I go, but it is resounding. Every business I've visited in the last 5 years is talking about lack of workforce. So maybe we can continue that conversation. We work with AM Skills, and we're working with the Pinellas Technical College to try, but maybe that's a conversation that we can also maybe find some sort of connection, because it's a problem. And I view it as alarming for Oldsmar, not quite alarming, but it's concerning. I want our business community to have employees. That's important. And then the last thing is that I read a book a long time ago, and it was written by Ashley Coulter. And it was called 3 Little Words. You guys familiar with that book? So I read that, I don't know, it's been 20 years now or so, but it really changed the way that I viewed some of the foster care system in Florida. And so from a personal level, that very much affected me. And so I'm now working with, through the city, something called Operation Jack's Village. I did text them while I was on the phone. So if you saw me texting, that's who I was texting, to see if she could jump on the call. She said she was in a conference call. I said, Doug, I would email her that's why I asked for the recording at the beginning. But they're doing a lot of stuff in the mental health. Have you guys heard of them? First of all, Operations Jack Village?
I have heard of them, but
yeah, I'd like to make the connection. It stemmed out of Jack Martin. He committed suicide a couple of years ago at Carwise. We just lost another child in Carwise a couple of weeks ago. And, so this organization is really trying to provide some wraparound services as a nonprofit, and everything from mental health and suicide prevention and bullying, things that align with what you all are doing. So I think that if it's okay with you, I'd like to connect you by email so that you guys can make that connection to see. It's driven by Jack's mom, Liz, but she's making good headway. We're also looking at partnering with Jack's Village to create some sort of teen space at one of our parks, because it's an underserved population, and how do we get them more engaged in a space that they would like to be engaged in. I spent many years in recreation, the provision of recreation services. And while we think that we know what teens want, I have found out, and the older I get, I have no idea what a teen wants. So even in this first phase, we have let them pick out their own equipment for a phase 1 renovation project. So we're going to have them do the visioning and all of the actual helping with or learning about project management and those sorts of things. So
I love it.
So from a municipal perspective, we would like you guys at the table for more of that in our community. And I think I can speak for, I'm speaking, I believe that the mayor will echo those sentiments.
Yeah,
We'd be honored.
If you could loop me in on that, that would be great. Just so if there's any way the chamber, and we've met with Liz and Gus Bilirakis's people to see how they can help. And so I have a couple of questions. First of all, thank you, Evelyn, for your story. I'm sure those are tough to tell, but you have a success story out of it, and I think it's great. I'm sure you have many success stories, but you may have touched on it, Roy, but how does somebody, I know you mentioned the Juvenile Welfare Board and through the judicial system is how some of the pipeline is that you get, but had I not been on this call, I'm not even sure that I would know that this program or programs exist. How does somebody find their way into this program? Because if they're a troubled child, and we all probably know some, they don't know what they're looking for. How does that happen? And two-part, if we can get some information from you guys that we can have here at the chamber, so that we can reference people and tell them if somebody comes in, we can share that with them. That would
Absolutely.
That would be great, but how do people find their way to you through, with the exception of the
It's usually,
judges?
yeah, it's usually a referral and through either our workforce programs uh, uh, or just for mental health professionals. People know in the community, and so often it really depends on the every child's different. Some young people can go directly into uh, it is a classroom environment, our workforce program, and function well. Others need full wraparound support and need a caseworker that kind of advocates for them, just depending on where they're at. And then you have other more extreme cases where the youth is actually in crisis and they need to be referred to a residential facility like the one Evelyn talked about. So it comes by referral and works through our system that way. You can go to our website, eckerd.org, and all you can, and it's real easy. There's a map. You just click on it and it shows you the programs in your area. But I'll make sure that the upper chamber, Doug, that you get material so that you can be part of this network, because that's how it happens. It's all it is referral, and we some of the programs are funded entirely through community support in tax dollars and community programs. Other programs are totally private pay, and for example, right now with the their outdoor therapeutic camping program in Inihasi, we're launching an endowment where the Eckerd family is actually matching all gifts up to $500,000 so that we have a financial aid fund. Because these outdoor therapeutic programs, especially with the mental health professionals that are involved, they're not cheap. They're very expensive, many times as much as $250 a day. You multiply that by the day through a year, and it's you can get to $50,000 or $60,000 a year very quickly. But as you've seen, the investment is well worth it, and a life changed is just it is worth it. And so,
Absolutely.
and so there are, there's different ways, but usually it's through referrals and us and just doing the casework to get the right fit for each young person.
Well, and it's unfortunate that, there are probably more than we want to know, Evelyn stories and Jack stories that, that are out there. And if we can stop or help one, I think that's a success. But if you could, and we don't need to get into detail about it, but I am recording this because I want to share this with our trustees and our board members and I know Eckerd Connects had a bit of a hiccup in the press, and we all know that there's always three sides to every story. Could you just touch on that and maybe what Eckerd Connects has done to change that perception? Because I can tell you that I had a couple of calls from some people, they're not on the call today, and that was a little bit of a concern. And so
Sure.
If you could just touch on it, don't need to go into any depth on it.
Yeah, I can't get into too much depth. I mean, we've been cooperating, I guess is the right word, but the sheriff does have an active investigation, so I have to be careful about the details. Sure. But let me say, we continue to run the program in Pasco. We'll do that through the end of this month. We're very excited about the transitions that are happening. These foster care programs in Pasco and Pinellas, Hillsborough, they have been underfunded for a long time, and some years is more than $5 million. That's why you needed a nonprofit the size of Eckerd to be able to shoulder that deficit. And so we have gone year after year after year back and got additional funding, but it has been tough. The other side that to the coin is that a lot of children, for all the right reasons, are put into the system. The one thing that we are seeing is that for lots of reasons, and we think it's because of better communication and better community involvement, you now have fewer children having to go into foster care, and they're doing all they can to keep a restorative program in place, getting parents, families the training and support they need to be able to not pull so many kids out of homes. And so FSS, the new provider, is doing a great job. More than 90% of their staff were picked up from our program. And so we're excited that those people in the community didn't lose their jobs, but they were brought into the new program. And so lots of positive things are happening there. And it's unfortunate that it took our crisis to cause the community support on it, and to really raise community awareness, and to cause the legislature to take a second look at the funding. But fortunately for the kids, that got done, and it's being addressed now. And so
I think that's the important part.
That
obviously.
is the important thing. And so it is. I hate to say this, but for us to take a punch or two so that the kids could get the support they need, it was worth the trade-off.
Yeah, and I think that's important, and I thank you for sharing that. And James and I talked, last week about, there are so many other good things that Eckerd Connects does. You've talked, just scratch the surface on that, and and that's the important part we need to shine the light on. I don't know if you saw Evelyn's message, but I think they're moving their office today, so she had to step out. But I certainly am going to share this with everybody. And if we can get some information here, that would be great. And the Jack's Village is an amazing organization. I forget, Felicia, how many kids that she's working with, 600 or 700, I think, is it?
That's exactly the number. Yeah, it was like 6 or 7, and it's growing.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's probably just the tip of the iceberg of kids that are out there. So
yeah, and she's doing this without a budget. It's like she's doing this kind of on her own. So I want to connect her to the resources that may be able to align with hers to see where there may be some help for her.
Yeah, instead of reinventing wheels all the time, for sure. Yeah, I think that's great. And yeah, anything we can do with the chamber. Thomas is one of our board members, so we're all about the kids for sure. I was kind of a troubled kid myself, more in the principal's office, not necessarily in jail, but I was bouncing around, single parents, and I think that's what you find is lack of leadership at home, whether it's a single mom or single dad, or no mom or dad, or incarcerated moms and dads. And so these kids need, they need help so that they can be a success story like Evelyn. Heck, I never thought I would become a mayor of a city, and lo and behold, I did. So, there is a silver lining. But anything else, Thomas? You got anything?
I just want to say thank you, Evelyn, for your amazing story. You're a strong, brave woman and a great success story. Are you still involved with them now, or looking into? I see that on their website here, they have adoptions and fostering a child. Is that something that a lot of people are doing in this community, or is there a lot of kids that do need this help right now?
There are a lot of kids that need the help. And so, again, we would refer you to FSS that's taken over those communities for the state of Florida here. But we can put you in touch with them to be able to help. We do foster care and child welfare in a few other states. Of course, Florida is unique. Most people don't understand this, that foster care is not privatized in every state. It's actually only privatized in about 7 states nationally, and 3 of those are pilots. So we also do child welfare, foster care programs in Kansas and North Carolina, where I am today. So, and so it's
how long is that
growing need everywhere.
Process for if you're looking to become a foster parent?
Yeah, there is a process, and I don't want to say it's easy or quick, but there is a process, and it's I would just encourage you to step through the doors, There's classes that you can take and programs you can get involved in. And we're happy to put you in touch with FSS locally.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the room have a question or comment or statement? You have one of your cohorts on there, Roy, on the call. I'm sure she's got some insightful words.
Yeah, Melanie Weber, for those of you that don't know, she is our director of corporate relations and does outreach, and actually she's the person that works with businesses who help sponsor these success awards. And so I asked her to join us. I promise you she won't twist your arms too bad. You'll only hurt a little while when she's done, but no, Melanie doesn't do that at all, and she's precious. And it's about what businesses want to do and how we can help them, how we can be a partner to you, and that's really what makes this whole thing work.
Sure, and if we can get information on that as well, we have almost 500 chamber members, and some small, some big, and oftentimes they're looking for a way to help, whether it's through shadowing, as Felicia mentioned, or monetary donations. That'd be great. The more information we can get, the better. We can at least pretend to be intelligent. At least we can pretend to be intelligent about what we're talking about.
Well, we'll get you some stuff and look forward to working with you. Again, I'm just so honored to speak to this group and be part of the group, and just again, very, very honored and touched, and thank you again for the opportunity.
We look forward to it, and I'm sure it won't be the last time that we talk. And I am going to share this. I'll send it to you, Roy, as well. Share this recording with everybody else, including Liz at Jack's Village. So hopefully we can make a connection there.
Yeah, and also I think maybe shouting it out, through our social media about that the job shadowing and that and the workforce development stuff. So Doug, maybe we can work with Roy and Melanie to come up with what that social media looks like.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We'll get you those contacts as well, because I'm going to do some arm twisting on my end. They ought to be part of your meeting every month. So I want to make sure that happens.
That sounds great. Well, thank you, and I'll process this. And maybe today it takes a while to compress this, but I'll try and get it back out to you guys as quick as I can.
Thanks again. We're honored. Thank you again.
Thanks. Have a great day.
All right, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.